we allowed her to, I guess, put her best foot forward, and that was her closing statement at the Israel Forum, to which I could not respond because I had given the closing statement before that. And she broke the rules of the forum, which were you weren't allowed to refer to your opponent in your answer. So she took that bait and ran with it. I think, though, that there are some important differences. One, that I have held this debate, that I've held town hall meetings all summer long because I wanted to hear from people who disagree with me, especially from people who disagree. I wanted to try to answer those questions as best I can. But we really do have a fundamental difference, Jan Schakowsky and I. And it is on Israel also. There we really do disagree. She believes fundamentally the United States should put more pressure on Israel to make concessions. And she's aligned herself with groups like J Street, like Manuel Zelaya, the individual from Honduras. She raised money with Helen Thomas earlier this year. She's aligned herself with people who want to change the nature of the relationship between the United States and Israel. And I don't. I think I want to strengthen it and make it deeper and more effective. But there really is a choice. There's a very clear choice. There's a choice between more spending and less spending. There's a choice between more regulation and less regulation. There's a choice between higher taxes and lower taxes. There's a choice between a stronger military and a weaker military. There's a choice between a more nationalized system of health insurance or health care and one that preserves choice between private and public alternatives. There are very clear choices also in the kind of representation. It's not just about constituent services, which are the basic minimum that every person can demand from their representatives. You know, I was an intern when I was 19 years old for a Democratic senator, and we provided constituent services because that's what you have a budget to do. You're supposed to do it. It's not about providing a passport for a constituent or writing a letter to someone who needs a Section 8 housing or something like that. You do that, but more than that, you have to lead. You have to lead on the most important issues of our time. And you have to lead our country in a direction of fiscal responsibility, of economic growth, of greater national security, of a health system that works, that functions, that doesn't just increase in cost, but also can decrease cost while expanding access and quality. I do believe every American should have access to health insurance. I just don't believe that every American should be forced to buy health insurance, and I don't believe every American needs to get their health insurance from the government. And that's a very fundamental belief. It's a belief about the role of government in our lives. It's a belief about the role of our congressional representative. I believe that our government was created to protect our freedoms, but not to provide them. That our freedoms come from who we are as individuals. That our freedoms come from nature or God or wherever, but they come from somewhere else other than the government we vote to run our affairs. Government protects our freedoms, it protects the rules of law, it enforces contracts, and yes, it provides for the neediest among us who cannot provide for themselves. But government's role is not to pick winners and losers in the economy, it's not to decide what's good and bad for us. The role of the government is to be there to protect our nation first and foremost, and protect the needy, and protect our rights. Everything else is up to us, and we've lost sight of that. That's not leaving people out on their own. That's saying to people, our responsibility is to care for each other, not to leave caring to an unfeeling, distant government that's not there when you need it most, as it isn't here in Illinois, as it can't pay its bills. We have a difference. It's a very profound difference. I believe that her view is taking our country in the wrong direction. She is the most left-wing member of the House of Representatives, not according to me, but according to GovTrack and National Journal. And I'm very privileged to be from a community that's beginning to understand just how important this process has been for all of us who have been involved. I'm beginning to understand it as we come to the end of this. It's been amazing, all the meetings we've had, all the volunteers, all the events we've had. I'm so proud of what we've been able to do, as someone said, to bring the civic engagement to Skokie into our district. We have a real choice. And when I'm at the train stations in the morning and when I'm going door to door, that's what excites people, whether they're voting for me or against me. We can do more than have a choice. We can actually make the difference. And it's not just about change. Mary talked about change. The change I believe in is not a change that happens to us from government. It's the change we create in our own lives because we have the freedom and opportunity to do so. I'm not sure about the civilian militia and the health insurance law, but I am sure that Jen Schakowsky is proposing another law to let the federal government decide how to design the main floor of your house. Your bathroom door has to be 32 inches wide. You can't have a front step if you have no other entrance. It's designed to make new housing compatible with elements of the Americans with Disabilities Act. That might be nice to do, but it's going to stop construction starts. That's going to raise the cost of housing at a time when that's one of the most devastated areas of our economy. We've got to put jobs first, and we've got to get government out of the business of stopping job creation, of redistributing wealth for redistribution's sake, and get government back in the business of giving incentives to people to go out there, start businesses, grow your businesses, create jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you each and every one of you for being here tonight. There's a lot we have to do in the next several days. There's a lot we can't do. And this is not a fundraiser, this is a debate, or it was meant to be a debate or a discussion. We do need financial help to make sure we get through the next few days. We can run our ads on TV and combat this kind of thing. We're not going to run negative ads about how terrible my opponent is. We're going to run ads about what I'm offering to the people of the 9th District. Because that's what's most important. Most important of all, we need people to volunteer, to be poll watchers, to get out the vote, to help us go door to door, to make phone calls, to knock on your neighbor's doors. Nothing will be as effective as telling your neighbors to go and vote. Because together we can do it. We have an historic opportunity. We have the chance to win this district, and we can do it if we go out there and vote. And I'm not going to tell you, like Janet Schakowsky, to pull people out of their homes and stand on their doorsteps until they have to come and vote. What I would like you to do is make the appeal to them that I'm making to you tonight. We can stop people from taking us for granted. We can make Washington listen, and we can change what Congress is doing for the better. That's the kind of change I believe in. Thank you very much for being here.